get some tunes up in here. Today we have a very, very, very special guest, very good friend of mine. Looking forward to the wisdom that he is going to bring upon you. He's been in ecom. If you guys know who he is, he's been in ecom for absolutely ever. He's been making content with millions and millions of views about how ecom works, how to set up ads, how to do drop shipping, absolutely everything you can imagine to build a successful ecom business. He's also made tons of money from trading. Just on a different point, we met at Capital Club back last year, I believe, around this time in Albania. And man, we had a blast. We had a blast. I will say that we ate a lot of steaks and we stayed up to some wee hours very often. And then I came and visited him in Thailand, and the rest is history. Welcome, my man. How are you doing, John?
Thank you, Zach. Thank you for having me, bro.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. I'm really looking forward to the information that you're going to bring to this crowd today. If you guys have any questions along the way, sometimes John thinks in different ways than we think. So if you feel like you need to interrupt him at any point and be like, whoa, please explain that. Please feel free to do that. Drop those questions in the chat. I will be going along the way and asking my questions as well. But let's keep this interactive and let's keep this popping. But John, besides my little intro that I gave for you, give a little bit about yourself, how you got started in this, maybe a quick little backstory of wee little John.
Yeah, sure. So let me give you guys a quick backstory about myself. Let me just try to think. I've always been interested in the internet since I was very young. So ever since I got my first computer in second grade, I've always been doing stuff on the internet. I built like a video game server. I don't know if you guys know about MapleStory, but back when I was in fifth grade, I built out a video game server, and that was one of my biggest passions, was building out video games. And I did that all the way until like college. I was playing video games and building them out myself, and that's pretty much where I got started. Everybody started playing my server, and I was making like $5,000 a month from that when I was very young. And that kind of showed me that, oh, you don't have to go to school to make a living. You can just make a living on the internet. And I learned this since I was in like elementary school, but because I'm Asian, my parents never truly believed that you could make a living online. So they always beat my ass to go to
They
school.
wanted you
And
to be a doctor, didn't they?
then they wanted me to be an engineer.
An engineer, okay.
Yeah, so they said they said like, you're not gonna make any money on the internet. You're wasting your time. But since I made so much when I was young, I always knew that it was possible. And by the time I hit college, I was quite lost at that point. I was just smoking weed all day and not going to school because I thought it was a waste of time. And by junior
As it
year,
was.
I really had no options. So I got into affiliate marketing around that time, and within 6 months, I was doing pretty good. So then I rotated that money over to drop shipping, and dropshipping really took off. This was back in 2017, at the start of like e-commerce dropshipping. That's when Shopify was going mad, and I think that was a golden era from 2017 to like 2020. It was extremely easy because nobody was in the market. But after the pandemic, things have changed quite a bit. Like, I didn't do any e-commerce from 2020 to 2022 because I was heavily involved into crypto and NFTs. Because why not? That thing was crypto NFTs was about 50 times easier than e-commerce at the during the pandemic, because so much money was flowing into it. You could literally blindfold yourself and click on a button and buy something random and still make money. So I did that for 2 years.
This man would literally, while we were in Albania, he would go to the bathroom, he would sit on the toilet, and he would come out and be like, "Hey guys, guess what? I just made a $20,000 trade." And everyone would like look around at him like, what do you mean you just made a $20,000 trade? He's like, yeah, I was just on the toilet. I saw a good opportunity. I shorted blah, 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 and I made 20 grand. And we're all just like looking at him like, who is this human?
Right. Because what's really nice is like trading is 24/7. So if you see an opportunity, you can just take it right away. And I really like trading because it really takes full capacity of your brain power to be actively doing it 24/7. But unfortunately, of November of 2022, I believe. I think it was November. Yeah, it was November of 2022. So like less than a year ago, I had a bunch of money sitting in FTX, and then FTX decided to go bankrupt. Not really bankrupt, but they just kind of took all our cash. And since that point, I decided to make my bag back in e-commerce. So I came back really quickly to e-commerce in I guess towards October, and then started scaling e-com stores again. Did about $5 million in quarter 4 last year, and now I'm going to try to do a lot more this year. And from November to this time, I've learned quite a bit again about what's changed in this whole ecosystem of e-commerce, what you guys need to do to be successful in media buying, how the algorithms have changed, and pretty much like where the future of everything is going towards. I think I can explain that to you guys pretty well today because I've been spending pretty much the past year doing this. And I checked through YouTube. There's really nobody teaching e-commerce anymore. I see all these people still dropshipping on there, but they don't quite understand what's changed, like how the meta has changed. They're just dropshipping stuff to Europe. They don't understand how to do the US markets.
Mm-hmm.
Because advertising has changed on a fundamental level, and the old ways that used to work in like 2020, 2017, they don't work anymore. And there's completely new ways to run shit using AI, automation, and less time. So let's get to it.
Yeah, everyone's either doing like TikTok organic or slinging TikTok ads and stuff, but you don't really see videos about people doing Facebook drop shipping anymore.
Right. So let's get a show of hands, maybe in the private chat of anybody that's here. I just want to see some people, just so I know that they have some questions.
All right, guys, you can either drop some steaks, some hands, whatever you want to. We drop steaks here. We don't drop hands.
All right, some steaks, some steak. You
Are
guys
you
drop
still
the
on your steak
steaks.
diet?
You guys drop the steaks. I'll drop the sauce.
All righty. Let's see the steaks, guys, and then we'll get this rocking.
Oh. Let me share the screen as well. Screen sharing is easiest with 2 monitors.
It is easiest with 2 monitors.
Hold on. I have a Chrome tab I can open. Is it this one? I think it's this one. All right, what about now? Can you guys
Gotta
can you
be
see it?
careful. No, I'll pop it in for them.
Ooh. Yeah, cool. All right, so I didn't see any steaks, but we might as well get going.
Oh, there are lots of steaks. There's
What?
like hundreds of steaks
Oh, what? I can't, where do I get to see the steaks?
in the comments. So you were looking at private chat. That's
Oh,
that's our chat, like you and me.
I see. Oh, there's a lot of steaks. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Did I post the e-commerce course? I did not. Maybe I won't be posting it until I don't know, maybe until after this year, perhaps, because I'm
After
not
you
trying to
make your
saturate
bag.
down my own. I'm not trying to saturate down my own stores, but today inside of Zach's group or live stream, I'll reveal pretty much everything that was going to be on there. So it should be enough. It just isn't coming with illustrations, so you'll have to piece it together yourself. But yeah, we can get started. So as you know, back in like 2017 or 2018, I don't know how long you guys have been doing media buying, but back in those days, you had to do like interest targeting and lookalikes and a whole bunch of shit. Actually, back in the day, I used to work a lot. I used to like duplicate these ad sets and like manage my campaigns and do cost caps and big caps and all of these other things. But there was a point that Facebook rolled out CBOs, and I remember what they told us. They said run CBOs using Power 5. But the funny thing is, like, nobody listened to them because what happened was you would do a CBO using this Power 5 method, and inside the CBO, you would get like, let's say we have 3 different ads. One ad would spend like $500 and get like a $20 CPA, and then another ad would only spend $100 and get like a $5 CPA, and then some ad would maybe spend like $20 and get a $1 CPA. And back in the day, like before anybody really understood anything, I don't know why Facebook never actually quite explained how the algorithm worked. Um, the gurus would be saying, "Yo, you got to turn this one off. This one's the high performer over here because it's a $5 CPA." What would happen is if you turn this off, this one, the CPA just starts to skyrocket up as everything becomes inefficient. So what I'm trying to explain to you guys today is how the algorithms have changed and how they become so much more efficient. But most people that I look at are not leveraging the potential of AI properly, because I've gone through a lot of videos on YouTube now since I've come back to e-commerce, and I've gone through a lot of groups. Everyone's still doing like ABO testing. They're duplicating stuff. They're launching interest. They're doing lookalikes. They're doing retargeting stuff. And I'm here to tell you that all of that is wiped out in 2023 across pretty much every platform I've seen. Even Google is taking off all of their interest targetings. They're going to be using, I think, mostly Performance Max, I think, towards the end of this year. And everybody's leaning towards all machine learning and AI. And if you don't know how to leverage that fully in 2023, you're going to be really behind. So let's get to it. So the first thing you have to understand is that if you have an advertisement, let's say this is your ad, and here's like your profile, and here is your page name. Below that, you have your primary text here, and then let's say this is your video ad, and here's your headline. When you launch this advertisement, the AI is automatically reading the entire context of your ad. So it knows what the page is. It knows what you're talking about in the primary text. It watches your videos, because if you notice, like if you upload a video that's against policy, they're able to flag your video right away. That's because the AI has contextual reading on the video. So depending on what you put in the videos, the AI can understand what's going on in the video. It'll transcribe the video, and that's why it understands like what which ads to disable and which ads to allow to run on the platform. It's going to read the headline as well. So the moment you launch the ad, Facebook already knows like this ad is supposed to go to, let's say this is an entire audience pool, and there's about this many people who are going to be interested in this ad potentially. They're going to automatically put it into this pool of people who are interested in your advertisement. Now, what a lot of people are doing these days is kind of fucking up the algorithm by manually deciding to, instead of targeting broad and letting Facebook decide which pool to put the audience into, they'll make their own little interest targets like this, and then they try to force the algorithm to go into these different pools of targeting, which is like this and this. And you have to understand that all of your buyers are actually right here, and Facebook understands that, but you're sending all your money to the wrong interest, or the wrong buyers, because you're still trying to do interest targeting and lookalikes, when by this point the algorithm understands exactly where the advertisement is going to. All you got to do is make the ad and launch it to broad. So what's really important right now in 2023 is your creative. The creative is pretty much, I'd say it's like 90% of everything. There's really no more media buying going on at this point. If you're still hiring media buyers, I don't know what to tell you, because I really feel like they're pretty obsolete at this point. I've been running ads on Google, TikTok, Snapchat, and Facebook, and across all of these platforms, I'm the only media buyer, because there's really no media buying. And let me explain how to run my strategy, because you'll quickly understand that you don't really need media buyers. And I'm sorry if the explanation is a bit complex. It's because there's a lot of small moving parts on it. So if you have any questions, you can write it in the comments and I'll try to best explain it to you. But basically, first you want to understand that the ads do the targeting. Two, you never want to do any like interest or lookalikes. You always want to go broad. And then you always want to set up one CBO. So let's say I'm launching a new product into like USA. My structure is always one CBO, and I'll do probably 2 DCTs. And DCT stands for dynamic creative testing. So what this will do is like Facebook will automatically pick videos, primary text, and headlines, and then optimize them for the best match for whichever person's viewing the advertisement. So I always go with like 2 DCTs, and then inside of the DCTs, I might do like maybe 3 video ads, 2 primaries, and 2 headlines. And you can see over here, it'll be the same thing. I'm not going to draw it another time, but it'll be 3, 2, 2. This way, if you think about it, when you're first launching a new product, you're getting 3 by 2 by 2. That's 6, 12. So that's 12. There's 12 permutations, and this is also 12 permutations. So in total, this is 24 permutations, and I'll run the budget at $100. Now you're probably wondering, what do you put in for the videos up here? And this is where the trick comes from, where everything can become super easy if you do this part right, which is most likely if you have a funnel. So let's say this is your marketing funnel. There's gonna be people at all stages of the funnel, right? Some people here, they have no clue. Like, these dudes are completely unaware of your product, your brand. They have no idea about anything. And these people down here are fully aware of your brand, of your product. They're literally just waiting to make the purchase. So if you think about it, a dude at the unaware stage, like to hit somebody at the unaware stage of the funnel, you need to be able to produce a video that has a broad enough reach that the algorithm likes. So you're probably wondering, how do you make these videos? And let's say these are some videos over here. And then how do you make these videos over here to target the very bottom of the stage of the funnel? And then how do you mesh it all together so that it fits with this strategy to maximize your revenue without making all these different campaigns? Because literally inside of my accounts, I just have one campaign running for like just one campaign. And every time I have new tests, like new winners, they're just going into this campaign. I'm not really doing much. I let the algorithm do all the work. So at the top of the funnel here, at the unaware stage, you're going to be most likely looking for videos that have been organically verified to be top performers. And how do you find those? You go to TikTok. So, I'm only sharing this screen. But anyways, so I'll just kind of draw it out for you guys. So if you go to TikTok, you can quickly find videos on there. Let's say I'm selling, I don't know, let's just say I'm selling a shower head, right? You can go to TikTok and look up like shower head, or I forgot what it was. Oh, it was a stone shower head. A stone shower head has like a lot of little beads in there, and that seems to be quite popular on TikTok. A lot of creators are making videos on that specific shower head, and you'll see on TikTok there's videos on there with like 70 million views, 110 million views, like 10 million views. And if you click on any of these videos and you go into it and you look at the comments, some of these videos, you can check the comments and everyone will be like, oh my God, I really want this product. And you can check another one, and this one might get 110 mil views, but you check the comments and people are kind of interested, but it's a bit more memey, as in like they got 110 mil views because they kind of made it into a viral video that's a bit memey. So there's 2 different videos where this performance is amazing, this performance is amazing, but this one clearly has the higher buy intent because the comments are saying that they want the product a lot more than this one. Now, what this tells you about the videos themselves is that the algorithm really loves these videos. They think these videos are insane, and they've been rewarded naturally for free on the platform because it's retaining attention and has a very big, broad audience base that TikTok will push the video out for free without you having to pay for it because they want to keep eyeballs on the platform anyways. So then what do I do? Well, basically when I find a product, I'll go to TikTok and I'll find videos with these really high numbers like 70 mil, 110 mil, 10 mil. I'll essentially just take these videos straight up. I'll just take it and just stuff it into this DCT. So the first DCT I have over here, I'm literally copy and pasting TikToks with very high engagement metrics into the top DCT. So these 3 videos will be the top performing TikToks, ripped straight up. And when you're ripping TikToks, you have to be careful because you can get DMCA'd or like copyright striked for taking TikToks. But the good news is that the vast majority of TikToks I've seen these days, there's this whole new method of like TikTok organic dropshipping. And there's a bunch of kids between the ages of like maybe 12 to 18 who've never done e-commerce before, who don't know anything about paid traffic, just spamming these organic TikTok videos because you can get lucky and randomly get something to blow up on TikTok, and then make like a quick 10 to 20K per video, right? So what I'll do is go to TikTok. I'll find these videos made by these kids. I'll take the top performers from them because they've already verified for me via the algorithm that their video can reach a very broad audience for very cheap, because you got 70 mil views for free. So essentially, if you take any videos on short form platforms with very high engagement metrics and plug them into Facebook, you have a very high probability that those will also perform extremely well, because, well, what are we optimizing for in 2023? The algorithms are all optimizing for attention. And if they're optimizing for attention, you want to get the videos with the most attention. And if you take the ones with the highest views, they've already been verified by the algo that they're really good organically. They're going to do just as well paid. So if you take this, put it into this CBO, it's going to start performing extremely well. Now, you might not be profitable right off of it, but most likely what's going to happen is these videos will go exactly right to the top of the funnel, because one, they were able to reach these ridiculous number of views here, like 110 mil, because it was such a broad video, as in a lot of people could relate to it. So at the top of the funnel, where there's the most people on your paid traffic side, those videos will perform the best, and it'll be getting you the cheapest clicks to your website, the cheapest reach, cheapest delivery, cheapest engagement, and it'll start building out your funnel. So once you have these videos in place, the next thing you want to do is make the bottom 3 videos. Now, these bottom 3 videos that I'm running, I don't really go to TikTok to rip those. These are the ones where I'm actually building them out using ChatGPT. So if you go to ChatGPT, a very quick way to use it is, how do I explain this? So yeah, basically it's like I'm using ChatGPT to write all of these videos. And the way I do it is, if you go to the way I do it is, you have ChatGPT first, and then you go to Amazon, and you go to Amazon, and you look up your product listing, whichever product you have. Most likely, your product's on Amazon, because Amazon pretty much has all the dropshipping e-commerce products on there. Find one with a lot of reviews, and then go get the Amazon, take the reviews and plug them into ChatGPT. So like get maybe 20 of the top reviews. Make sure they're very in-depth, because the more information you have on the reviews, the better the ChatGPT will be able to analyze it. And then tell ChatGPT, hey, I'm selling this shower head. Here are 20 reviews from Amazon. I want you to analyze these reviews and then write me a customer avatar using the book Breakthrough Advertising, because in that book, that guy, Eugene Schwartz, he kind of illustrates the buyer persona funnel. And if you tell ChatGPT to make you the funnel for the customer avatar, it'll do exactly that. And it'll basically build out this entire funnel for you. So once you have the funnel, or once you have the customer avatar built out, then you can just tell ChatGPT to write you the Facebook video ad. And you got to mess around with the settings a bit, because sometimes it'll make you like a 1-minute ad, sometimes 30 seconds, depending on the niche you want to change it up. So you've got to mess around with that a bit. But essentially, I'll have ChatGPT write me the Facebook video ad, and we'll even tell you like what kind of B-rolls to be using with the ad. And once ChatGPT writes me the ad, you can tell it like, write me a Facebook ad for somebody who's in the aware stage of the buyer funnel, or write me an advertisement of somebody who's in the problem aware funnel or problem aware stage. And basically fill out your entire funnel with a video. So like, let's say we can make a couple videos here, like 3 videos here, 2 videos here, like 5 videos here. It doesn't really matter. You just want to make sure that you have all videos filled up in the funnel. Then what I'll do is I'll go back into the CBO and launch the rest of the videos for the funnel. Now, you don't have to do all of this at once. You could actually just literally start off with this one, just the TikTok video rips. And once this is profitable, if you want to keep scaling, you need to make more advertisements to fill up the rest of the funnel. But essentially, everything is consolidated under one CBO. Now, I know it's a lot of talking, and I know it's a bit confusing at first, because we've been flip-flopping back and forth around all of this shit. But essentially, you want to be doing everything under this one CBO, and you have to believe that Facebook is optimizing your budget accordingly. So let's say you have eventually, I don't know, let's say we have 50 permutations in the ad. eventually you'll probably see that maybe only like 2 of these permutations are getting spent and the rest of them are not getting spent. Now, what most people are thinking to themselves when they're not getting spent is that, oh my God, Facebook is kind of slacking, or maybe it's the algorithm's not proper. It's not giving any budget to my other test, and I'm going to make ABOs to test out my advertisements so that Facebook will spend money on it. What's going to happen is, let's say you have let's say you have some ads over here and you decide, well, Facebook's not spending any money on this one. I'm going to turn this one off here and I'm going to make an ABO, and I'm going to run, let's say this is DCT number 4. I'm going to run DCT number 4 here. What's going to probably happen is that you run this ABO, it's going to flop hard. And the reason is because if your DCT number 4 was going to perform well, Facebook would have allocated budget into it. That's the kind of thinking you need to have, is that the machine is a lot smarter than you. So if you see that there's a DCT where it's not getting any spend, there's a very good reason for it. It's because Facebook doesn't think that video advertisement is going to be beneficial for your overall campaign. And that's why they're not spending any money on it. So even if you took it out and put it into an ABO, your most likely result is going to be that it's going to just completely flop. So they're doing you a very big favor these days by not spending your money. So by keeping everything inside of one campaign, you can really save your money by not wasting your money on any testing. Because if you launch anything inside of it and Facebook doesn't think it's going to do well, it's just not going to spend any money on it, which means you can never lose technically if you do this properly. So that's another thing. And the final thing is that your retargeting, you also want your retargeting to be in here. So if you have any kind of messaging in your advertisements where you want to retarget people, don't launch custom audiences, and like don't do any of those segmentations and stuff. Just launch them inside the single CBO and keep it at broad, because if you launch a retargeting ad, just like how Facebook can read the context of the advertisement, it's going to know who to deliver the advertisement to. So if I make an advertisement and let's say like get 10% off, right? This is get 10% off. It's going to know exactly who to show this to. They're going to know that this is a retargeting advertisement. And depending on that customer's unique journey through the funnel, it'll show this advertisement to them at their exact spot. So if they're over here along the funnel, or let's say they're over here, the advertisement that they're going to see is going to be different, but you've got to allow Facebook to naturally show them the right sequence of ads. Because if you've ever seen somebody's funnel, I remember recently I saw the funnel of life cycle mushrooms. The algorithm is so good. It'll first show me the mushrooms and then get me kind of interested. Then it'll like weasel me into a Joe Rogan podcast like advertisement. Then it'll go into like an Alex Huberman like interview. And the way the algorithm shows me the advertisements, the sequence of ads that it shows me, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, it's so good. It's even convincing me to buy these random ass mushrooms. I don't believe in these mushrooms either, but the amount of evidence
Now you do.
yeah, right. I'm kind of like starting to believe in it now because of how good the algorithm is. So I'm trying to tell you guys that you have to leave everything up to the algorithm. It's going to far outperform anything you're thinking, and just let it decide what kind of sequence to show each person, because everybody has a different funnel, right? As in, like, some people might take more convincing, some people might take less convincing, but by allowing Facebook to just target broad, you're basically letting Facebook decide, okay, this guy, will show him like this video, we'll show him this video at this stage, we'll show him this video at this stage, we'll show him this video at this stage until he makes the purchase, right? Versus if, let's say I'm at this stage of the funnel, but you're doing interest targeting, or you're doing like lookalike audience targeting, you're giving Facebook a very narrow targeting opportunity, which is it might not be able to show them this video at this stage of the funnel. It might be forced to show them this video because you're giving it restrictions, and Facebook doesn't really like that. And that's why they've created this new segment called Advantage Plus. They literally named it Advantage Plus just to try to convince people this time to use it. And Advantage Plus is basically no targeting. And I've used Advantage Plus. I've done CBOs. I think it's the same. I think it's just broad targeting, but they just made it for like the newcomers, right? Because if a newcomer comes to the platform, they don't know anything about it. They're like, oh, Advantage Plus, you don't have to do anything. You just upload video ads to it and it's going to like do its magic. Well, the truth is that that's what they want you to do. They don't want you to do anything. Like, everything's been optimized for this year for you to pretty much do nothing. All you've got to be doing is looking at the campaign budget. So
When you
Just
have a
don't.
DCT that flops
Yeah,
like that, like number 4 right there, that just didn't spend,
yeah,
uh, do you go back in and find a new creative or create a new video,
yeah, yeah.
do you go in to
Like the
change
ones
the
that
copy?
Nah, like the ones that don't get any spend, you just leave them, right? You just leave them because one day maybe like Facebook will think that this one might be good at some stage of the funnel. You never know. So like I'll just leave them. I just never touch anything in here, right? I never touch anything. Like you don't turn anything off or on. You just leave them. And if it doesn't get spent, then it just doesn't get any spend. And you can just keep adding more DCTs into it. I haven't hit a capacity yet. It's quite hard to get to the max capacity for this. But you can just keep launching more throughout the week or maybe the month. Whenever you feel like you want to do some more testing. Now, like if you launch a new DCT inside of the campaign, it's not going to get spent instantly. It might take a couple days.
Mhm.
But essentially, you don't really have to do much as long as you're patient with the testing. You can just keep launching them in there. Now, people are probably going to be wondering, how do you scale this bitch? Well, it's very easy to scale if you just look at, so let's say this is a campaign. Very easy to scale if you just look at the overall CPA. So all I'm looking at is the overall CPA of the CBO. Let's say my target CPA equals, let's just say 20, right? And my current, let's say I'm running this at $100, the CBO. And currently my CPA is at $10 and I'm spending $100 a day. Well, it's very evident if my target is 20 and I'm getting $10 CPA, I can just double the budget. And after doubling the budget, let's just say, oh, now it's going to $11. It went up a little bit. You can just keep doubling it. So I might go to 400. And if this goes to 15, well, now you can kind of sense that, okay, maybe if I doubled this one more time, we might be getting close to the limit. So let's try doubling this to 800, and then maybe this is going to bring us into $19 now, right? So now at $800, we're at $19. We're pretty much getting to the capacity of the scale. So from this point, you can't really scale it. You don't want to double from 19 on 800 to um what is it, 1600. You don't want to go right to 1600 from here now because we're getting very close to the target CPA. What we got to do now is drop the CPA first and then go for some sort of budget adjustments. Now how do you decrease the CPA? Well, to decrease the CPA, what you need to do is you need to expand your audience targeting. Yeah, you basically need to expand your audience targeting. And then how do you expand your audience targeting? Well, you've got to make new ads, right? Or you can expand into more countries, which I've been doing both these days. But essentially, so we'll do another diagram here. Essentially, if you have an advertisement here, let's say this is your ad, and this is your buyer. This is like let's just say this is the population of America. Here's your ad, and in your advertisement, you have a grandma talking about like pet food, and you're selling pet food. So now this is targeting this many people in here, but because your advertisement has a grandma in it as a spokesperson, your advertisement targets these grandmas, and you're able to scale to $19 CPA at $800 spend. But now it's getting very close to your target of $20, and that means that you pretty much captured this entire audience pool of grandmas who are interested in pet food. And to scale, you need to have more people. So what you need to do is make more advertisements, but target different people. So maybe change the hook to a dad talking about dog food. So now you're targeting like dads because the advertisement is different. Because depending on the hook, you're going to be targeting different audiences. So once you have more advertisements targeting different audiences, you're going to start to see if this is working. Your CPA should go back down. So naturally over time, your CPA should go back down to maybe 15. And once it's at 15, now you can double the budget to 1600 and see if this gets closer to the target of $19. So pretty much every single day you're just managing the budget up or down based around what the CPA is. And you can also say depending on the weekday, so like Monday, let's say we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Maybe on these days you want to drop the budget 30% because there's less buyers in the market. And here you want to increase the budget by 30%. But really, you've got to be able to notice the trends within your own ad account and then decide whether or not to increase or decrease the budget on that day, depending on the trends in your account. And this is really nice because once you understand the trends, you really only have to adjust this one budget number throughout the like for the entire account for the day. So like if I wake up, I could be managing 10 accounts. I'll be done with work in like maybe 20 minutes because all I have to do is look at the numbers and just increase or decrease the budget. And I'm not duping any campaigns or like setting cost caps or big caps. I'm literally just adjusting the budget. And I've noticed this on like pretty much every platform at this point. Everybody's moving towards just all AI machine learning. As in, if you don't understand this concept I'm explaining to you right now, you better understand it soon because everything is moving towards machine automation, and you're not going to be doing much work in the future. You're really just going to be focusing around making the best advertisements possible. Because right now, I can just say that content is pretty much everything. Like a media buyer is not really doing much. He might be running all these crazy strategies, but essentially the crazy strategies is just leading to more work and less efficiency because I see these people where they're duping campaigns where you might have this is a campaign, this is a campaign, this is a campaign, and then maybe some additional, like, I don't know, some extra ABOs over here on the side. And what you're essentially doing is you're just competing. If this is the population of America and this is your audience pool right here, by doing all of this extra shit over here, you're trying to get the same exact piece of the pie with all of this extra shit. So you're just making it more inefficient for yourself. And I see a lot of people doing that these days, where instead of having one campaign going into this entire audience pool, you're having 6 different assets going to the same pool with different budgets, bidding on the same exact audience, and you're just kind of driving up the cost for yourself by doing that. You should only really have one campaign or one ad set like Performance Max going into the audience, because the Facebook targeting at this point is pretty much, I would say, it's immaculate. I've never seen it kind of fuck up. Like if you launch anything these days, you can see good CPCs and CPMs right off the launch because it already knows who to target with that advertisement. And it's the
Unless your
same for every
creative sucks.
platform. Yeah, and it's the same for every platform: Snapchat, TikTok, Google, everybody, like Twitter. I've run ads on all these platforms, and right now, that's where everybody's going, and it's pretty much already here. So for the people that haven't adapted to this is a time to get adapted to the new wave of running ads. Albeit that there's not many people on YouTube I can think of that talks about this because everybody's still thinking about these strategies and I don't know,
Trying to
different duping.
overcomplicate it.
Yeah, like different duping methods and stuff. But if you understand the fundamentals behind how the machine is thinking, then you're able to really leverage that to the max. Because when I'm scaling, like I literally only have one campaign, and people ask me how I scale so fast. It's because I just have one campaign, and all I have to do is just double the budget. Literally, what my day to day looks like this. It's like raise the budget, make more ads. Raise the budget, make more ads. I'm not thinking of any strategies at this point. It's just raise budget, make more ads, and that's all you got to think about in 2023. Once you saturate US, what's really nice is you got Shopify markets. You can now expand to all these European countries. And what I do for that is I'll just make one CBO per country, basically. So every country has its own CBO. Depending on how well it performs, I'm upping and downing the budget. But essentially, I think that's pretty much it. That's pretty much my entire system that I was going to give out on YouTube that I've given out to you guys for free on Zach's group. Albeit you don't get the exact illustrations of like my exact store setup and whatnot, but the fundamentals are all here. If you can understand this and implement this into your business, you're gonna see a lot of success.
All right, we have a few questions in the chat. Lee said, "Hey John, how long do you let a creative run? As for DCT, I need to relaunch a new ad set every time after a creative is done testing."
Yeah, so inside this DCT testing campaign, I'll let this go for 3 days usually. So if I'm first launching, you only have these two right here, DCT 1 and 2, where there's 3 videos, 2 primaries, 2 headlines. So I'm letting this go for probably about 3 days and evaluating the results. If after 3 days you don't really get to a profitable day, then most likely the setup is fucked. As in, like, the combination of videos you have in here with the primary text, they're probably not going to work. So you probably want to just do a completely new set of videos by that point. Because there's really two options. It's either that you pick the product that's going to be very hard to scale, or two, you put the wrong combinations of video ads in there and you need to swap them out. So for the first try after 3 days, try changing out all of these videos inside of here and see if it can become profitable, because each day Facebook is optimizing the audience a bit, But I've noticed that by day 3, it's pretty much optimized to the exact segment, and it should become profitable by day 3. Otherwise, the videos in here are probably wrong, and you got to get different advertisements.
Do you use one campaign for one product or one niche?
Right. So let's say you have a store. Let's say you have a general store, perhaps, right? And you're selling like I don't know, slippers, hair products, pet products. Yeah, you want to segment this based off of the product. So if you're selling slippers, that's one campaign. So like this is one campaign. If you're selling hair products, that's another campaign. Pet, that's another campaign. The campaign is really split based on the audience, right? So slippers are going to target a specific audience, hair is going to target a specific audience, and pet's going to target a specific audience. That means you want to have different campaigns. You don't want to combine them. It's one campaign per audience, basically. So depending on the country, that's also a different audience, right? Like Italian people, American. So it's different audiences. I have pages translated for Italian, so it needs to be a different campaign than the USA campaign.
Another question is, with your single CBO strategy, do you scale by replicating across different ad accounts?
No. So if you have a single CBO, you only want to scale by raising this budget, right? If I make 2 ad accounts, just because I have 2 ad accounts doesn't mean like I'm getting better performance. As you've seen in this example over here, if I have 2 ad accounts, let's say this is one ad account, this is one ad account, and I launch 2 of the same CBOs by duplicating them, I'm just going to be bidding in the same exact audience pool, right? With 2 campaigns, so you're getting less efficiency for the same money.
Another one says, where are we at? I got to keep going up higher because they keep scrolling down.
How to start tomorrow? DCT4 is about time. How much DCT I should make for the start? How to start tomorrow? DCT4 about. I'm not quite sure what that
I don't
means.
know what that means either. That's why I didn't read it. We'll go to the next one. What are the new ecom research / spy tools that you are using in 2023?
So I never really use spy tools. I feel like for me, I get a lot of natural intuition just scrolling on Instagram Reels and TikTok feed all day. Um, but there was one I use sometimes. Oh yeah, it was called a PP Spy, and it's you literally plug in somebody's store and you can see their analytics, which was really nice. And I think that's pretty much. I've just been using TikTok and PP Spy really. So if I have a product, like spying on them, I guess is like I go to TikTok and I look up the product to see like which video ads are getting, or not ad video ads, but which videos are getting the most engagement, and pretty much use TikTok to spy the product. As in, like I want to see how popular the product is on TikTok. But that's pretty much it. I haven't really been using a lot of spy tools or research tools much.
Do you use an in-house team for your video creatives, or how are you making them?
Yeah, so I have 2 people working with me, and we pretty much ordered the products. We film it because it's so easy these days, right? The shittiest ads are working the best. As in, like you film them on your phone, you make it look kind of organic and like low production style. It just tends to perform better. So I used to like pay UGC creators and stuff, but I realized it was very inefficient because you got to hire a lot of them, and most of them they don't really know what they're doing in terms of how to market it. So the better solution for me was film a lot of the content myself, since I already know what I'm looking for. It's much faster for me to just film the content myself. 2, just go to TikTok and rip the highest performing creatives. I kind of consider those as like the paid UGCs that I used to do, where back in the day I used to pay UGC people to make me those videos, but now I go to TikTok and there's all these kids who have made these videos on there that I've gotten like 10 million, 20 million views. So they're already verified by the algorithm to perform well. And they're not even copywriting me because these kids literally only do TikTok organic dropshipping. So I'll just take those videos and use them for top of the funnel, and then shoot some content myself at home, and then edit those for middle of the funnel to bottom of the funnel.
The next question is, would you use this strategy for B2B?
For business to business, I don't
Yeah, I
know. Like
guess if
what?
you're selling, I don't know, like a service? Well, yeah, I guess most of these people are agencies, so if they're
All
trying to
right.
do like lead generation or something like that.
Yeah, if you want to do lead gen, it's the same thing. The fundamentals are always the same thing, right? If you're doing lead gen, like your audience size is probably somewhere over here, and to target them, I'm just saying, like if you have one campaign with some sort of specific ad copy targeting lead gen people, it's gonna be the same. Like you can this exact strategy works for anything. It's just how the algorithm functions. It's not really even a strategy. This is just me going over how the algorithm will or how the algorithm works.
Quick comment, Kevin Wu said he made around 10 million revenue from the info from your course.
Oh, awesome, Kevin. Awesome. Well, that's very nice to hear, man. And this is the updated information, basically.
Are you using only videos for creatives? What's the difference between the three videos?
Yeah. So, yeah, they're mostly just all videos. The difference between the three videos is you can have different hooks. So, let's say I'm selling a stone shower head. Different hooks would be like one of them talks about like purifying water to target people who are afraid of like dirty water. Another video, the hook is about increasing your water pressures. Now you're targeting people who want higher water pressure. So, each of the videos targets a different people, like a different person. So the hooks will just be different. That way, I can try to find an audience where they really resonate with the product, and it's going to give me the cheapest CPA. But you don't quite know when you're launching the product which audience base is going to be the cheapest because every product has multiple different kinds of audiences.
And then what's the length of your videos in the top of the funnel ads versus middle and bottom of the funnel?
Right. So there's really no specific length of the video. It depends on the product. Everything depends on the product. So let me just give you a quick example. So if you're selling like these pet shoes, I know there's a brand called Pet Lab Co. where they're selling these shoes for dogs with like diarrhea or something. That's got to be a longer video. That's gonna have to be like at least 30 seconds to a minute because people need to be educated on how the pet chew works, like how it solves diarrhea, why you need the product. But then there's also very basic products like like slippers that are soft and squishy. That might be a 10-second video or a 20-second video because you don't need to educate somebody on squishy slippers. Everybody understands that. Everybody knows what a slipper is. You just gotta say they're squishy. So the video length all depends on the type of product that you have. So there's really no answer for this one.
What's the most amount of videos you've had active at a time in one CBO?
The most amount of videos I've had active, maybe like 50. I think maybe like 50. Probably like 50, but it's not like all 50 videos are getting spent every single day. What I've tend to notice is like when you have 50, and let's say I scaled the budget to around 5 grand, you might have maybe 10 videos spending up and down, and it'll just be all random. And then the other 40 videos might be getting no spend because they weren't very good ads.
That's like a weird flex. Like how many videos do you have inside your CBO?
Yeah.
I'm gonna message you. I'm gonna message you next week and let you know how many I have.
Cool, cool.
All right, last question. What what you will test your creative first example hook testing? I don't even know. I'm sorry. Or visual hook testing first. What? Will you
What you will
test
test?
your creative first, your hook first, or your I don't get it, or your visual
Oh, I
hook?
think he's talking about the different kinds of hooks or the visual. Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. Um, yeah, in my opinion, like it doesn't really matter. I know how people are saying like you got to really narrow this down at the start. I think it comes down more so like are you able to hit how do I say like the easiest audience first? So like you might not have the most optimal visual hook at the start, but if the audience is easy enough, even with a shit video that's not that good, you're still able to at least break even or be profitable if that angle and audience is really interested in the product. So I don't really care about the visual or like the exact hook at the start. I'm just trying to hit all the different kinds of audiences and see which one's the easiest. And once I have the easiest audience, then I'll start to narrow down and optimize the visual hooks.
One of the things that I thought of, generally, if you're doing lead gen or if you're selling a course or something like that, you couldn't really, I mean, I guess you kind of could, but you couldn't really rip a TikTok. What would be your way there of trying to find a good creative for it? I mean, obviously going through the chat GPT strategy, but what else would you do?
Oh, for lead gen?
Yeah.
I think for lead gen, a lot of the hooks could be taken via YouTube. You know, you go to YouTube and you look up like whatever it is you're trying to do. Go to the highest performing video on there, and then you can literally, I think, take the contents from that to use for your own video ad. Um, Yeah, I think for Legion, that's pretty much. I would always go for taking the content from something that's already performed well. So trying to find examples of high performance Legion videos from any platform. It could be TikTok, Instagram Reels, or YouTube. Somebody's has had to have made something where the performance is high organically to take the ideas from.
Yeah, anything that's performed organically. Got
Yeah.
it. All right, guys. That is the last question we have for today. Verum, thank you very much for coming out today. It was a pleasure having you. One of the things that I have all guests kind of come and share. You're not specifically in the agency niche, but I'm going to ask you anyways to see kind of what maybe random insights that you have. I always ask three different questions, right? So in the group, we have people that are trying to scale to 30K and are just starting off their agency. We have people that are trying to scale to 100K and are probably above 30K and doing pretty well already, have a team, managing people, etc. And then there are people that are trying to exit their agency for multiple 7 or 8 figures. What is your piece of advice for each of those groups, for all three of those groups? So, three pieces of advice.
So people making like 10K, 30K, 50K,
Just
100K.
starting off, scratch.
Just start. What kind of advice though?
Just advice on what they should, how they should do to get started or to get to that 30K mark. So they're just starting off and they want to get to 30K a month.
For me, you know, I think about everything very simplistically. I guess I gotta say, you know, because when I was starting off, let's say I was starting from zero, I'll just kind of go over what I was thinking since I'm pretty bad with this advice stuff. But basically, I think when I was first starting, I was thinking, okay, I'm broke, so I gotta make some money. So I did affiliate marketing, which was, in my opinion, the easiest. You could do it with no money, so I just did affiliate marketing. Then I was thinking, okay, how do I make more money? And I thought, oh, you can invest this money into something now to make money quicker. And that was dropshipping, where I have to invest that money to start rolling it up quicker. So then after that, once you get to a 100K mark, you got to be thinking, well, how do you make money even quicker? And from that point, it's really just you've got to let the money make the money. And that's when I got into the trading, NFTs, crypto investments, and started rolling up the money that way. That way, it's like I'm making money and putting it into something that's making even money, like making money even faster. I don't really think there's specific advice to give to going from a 10K to 100K. I think going from 10K to 100K, it shouldn't take you long. If you made it to 10K, you should get to 100K pretty easily. I think even getting to $1 million is pretty quick and easy. But from that point, 1 million to 100 million, that could take you fucking decades, or it might take you a few years, depending on if you execute the right strategies. And for me, that was me trying to figure out like how do you get from a mil to 100 mil. And for me, that was, oh, I've got to figure out a way to make the money grow itself, and then keep making more liquidity to make the money grow faster. And that's when I got into trading and e-commerce. And I'm sure when I get to 100 mil, I'll be thinking, how do I get to $1 billion? And I'll gotta think of a way to grow faster. But I think for everybody else out there stuck at 10K, 30K, or 50K, nothing to really worry about. You're gonna get to 100K as long as you keep working and keep progressing. If you stop working and progressing, of course, you're not gonna get there. But it's pretty obvious to me that if you just keep going, you're gonna fuck up a lot, and there's gonna be a lot of problems. But if you just keep going, you'll be there pretty soon. And when you get to $1 million, then you'll know, like, fuck, it's a lot harder to get to 100 mil from a mil than it was to get from than it was to get to 1 mil from like 10K. Like 10K to a
Amen.
mil, I think is super fast. But 1 mil to 100 mil, I haven't gotten there yet myself, so I can just say it's a lot
Same.
slower.
Yeah, it is a lot slower for some
Yeah,
reason. I don't know who made the rules, but it's slower.
yeah, it's a lot
Um,
slower.
awesome, my man. Appreciate you. Is there anything, any closing words that you would like to leave for the people?
Fuck,
If not,
man.
don't worry.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
stress. You gave
I
all your
really don't
sauce
have.
already, so
Yeah. I don't have any closing words. Just appreciate you for having me on here. It was a blast
absolutely.
talking to all of your followers.
Yeah, I appreciate you, my man.
Cool, cool.
Thank you so much for calling by. And thank
Cool.
you very much for your time.
Cool. Thanks for having me,
Have a
Zach.
good day.
Yeah, yeah. Peace, brother.
Bye bye. Alrighty, guys. Incredible stream. I mean, if you know anything about media buying or anything about Facebook or advertising, like that just would blow your mind. Absolutely. I He has a very very simplistic approach to business, and I always found kind of a friend in him because he has a very similar approach to me, as we are both very lazy humans that like to work the least amount that we possibly can, which means simplifying the way that you do marketing and the way that you do your business. I feel like people try way, way, way too hard, right? Um, but anyways, that was just a testament to how simple it can be if you just think outside of the box instead of just trying to do. It's not always about grinding. Sometimes it's about just like sitting still and just kind of like thinking how processes are, thinking how things go, and then being like, oh, okay, maybe this will work. Oh, okay, maybe this will work. And just making it simple. Don't overcomplicate it, right? Once again, thank you guys all for coming out. I appreciate all of your time, as I appreciate his as well. This community will always be dedicated to bringing you the right information, the right network that you're not going to get anywhere else unless you paid 15, 20K for some mastermind, or you pay some guru a course for 2,000 bucks. You will not get this information anywhere else. It is my goal to create an incredible network for like-minded individuals to come into a group, be able to grow their agency, grow their business together, and being able to have a similar projection into where we are headed, and then also bringing the right information to you. When I started doing marketing about 2 years ago, to the point now where I've made over $1 million in marketing, I wish I had this group. I wish I had this to save all the time, to save all the money that I spent in trying to figure out how I got to the point where I am now. And that is specifically why I created this for people, so that you have the shortcuts, show that you have the answers to get there without having to spend your life's fortune on it. If you're interested in joining the group, it is also free. You can find the link in the description below. But once again, thank you guys so much for coming. Cannot wait to see you on the next one, which is actually tomorrow with Digital Jeff. And he's going to be talking to us a little bit about AI and how to create a one-person PR agency using AI. You're not going to find this info anywhere else. Appreciate you guys. And we are out, out, out. Bye bye. Bye bye.